Hi kids, it's Mrs. Fravel. How are you? Thanks, I'm fine too. Hey, I forgot to record today's class while I was doing the lab live. So I am going to quickly, if you were not able to attend the synchronous online class session today, I'm going to take you through the macromolecules lab that I did, so that you can have a look at how we figure out what macromolecules are in what structures in a living body. Now, that none of those words might have made sense to you, and that's okay. This is like a phenomenon or a focus question preview for the macromolecules. And after you watch this and do the pre-lab stuff, what you'll need to do is go onto Canvas and watch my other video where I explain what the macromolecules are and what they do in living bodies. And then you will do the worksheet, do the foldable, then come back to the lab worksheet, which you should open while you're watching this. So go ahead and pause me and go to Canvas, go to the Macromolecules Lab Pre-Lab, open the document, and read through it really quickly, and then get down to the results table. And I'm going to go through the results and explain some stuff. Okay, so go ahead and pause me. I'll wait. That's fine. Are you back? Okay. All right. So just for some quick background, let me get my, I don't like this webcam, but here we go. Okay, so some background information. One characteristic of living things is that living things are made up of certain molecules, organic molecules that contain mostly carbon. Now, we talked a few weeks ago about chnops. Do you remember that little lesson? We talked about the six most important elements, or the six most common elements that make up living bodies: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. Chnops. That's 5, not 6. I'm sorry. It's been a long day again for Fravel. Okay. These elements then combine molecularly to make small molecules that then get together into larger molecules. And that will make more sense when you go watch the next macromolecules video and do the worksheet. But we call these organic molecules, and macromolecules is what we will be calling them in class. And there are 4 of them. There are lipids, which are things like fats, oils, waxes, hormones is what they do in the body sometimes. Carbohydrates, which include sugars and starches. Proteins. Now, what do you think of when I say protein? Probably meat, right? That's what you've probably heard protein as, which is not wrong, but meat is just one kind of protein. That's muscle. Proteins are actually one of the most important and most common macromolecules in your body, in any living body. Everything is kind of made of protein, and most metabolic processes are accomplished by proteins and enzymes, which are a type of protein. And again, you'll read and hear more about those in the next video. And then nucleic acids, which are DNA and RNA. Okay. What is food? Like, when you're eating something, what are you eating really? No, you're eating living things, or once living things, or organic matter. You are ingesting nutrients and substances that will provide your body with the macromolecules it needs in order to function. That's where I want you to keep in mind the bonking video that we saw at the beginning of class last week before the shutdown, when we watched the triathlete runners whose bodies just would not function anymore. And we asked why. Why does that happen? So we're going to now look at how macromolecules are detected, or where they are in different organic substances. Okay, we're going to run some chemistry. I have run some chemical testing on some common foods. And remember, foods are made of living organic compounds, tissues. That's what you're eating when you're eating food. So let's take a look at what kinds of macromolecules are in different structures and in different foods. Okay, I'm going to pause so that I can turn. Oh, sorry. Wow, I'm okay. So the tests that we do in biochemistry, we use some chemicals called reagents or indicators. And indicators, what they do is they change color when they encounter specific macromolecules. Okay, so again, I'm going to pause this really quickly, and I'm going to turn the camera so you can see the actual lab. Okay, hold on. Ooh, that wasn't pause. Again, still okay. Okay. I hope you can still hear me okay. And everybody say hi to my laboratory assistant, Daisy the dog. She's loving this lab very much. Okay, so the reagents that we're going to be using to indicate or show us what macromolecules are present in different foods are iodine. My thumb's covering it up. Iodine is a liquid, iodide potassium. Iodine, when it is combined with a food, it will change color from its normal reddish orange to black when it encounters a starch. And again, a starch is a large carbohydrate molecule. And then we have another indicator called biuret. So biuret reagent in its normal state is bright blue. Okay, and when it encounters protein, it turns purple. Okay, then we have Benedict solution. Okay, and it is normally again bright blue. And when it encounters heat and sugar, simple sugars, it turns bright orange or yellow, and that indicates the carbohydrate simple sugars. Okay, and then a very, very complicated, very technical test that we do to test if a substance has lipids in it is a brown paper test. Okay, I'm going to go through these results that you're seeing in just a minute. The substances that we decided that we test include oatmeal. There. How about there? Can you see that? Oatmeal. The light is not the best in this camera, I apologize. This is milk. This is our unknown, our X factor. We don't know what this liquid is. We also test apple juice, vegetable oil, and we test plain water to see if there are any macromolecules in that. All right, so there are our variables and our parameters, and now I'm going to blow up the picture. So make sure that you have your pre-lab worksheet open while you watch this, so you can be looking at the table that has test results. Hang on one sec. So high tech, I'm going to show you the paper. So if you go to the sheet on your lab sheet that has the results table, is this backward? I apologize if it's showing you the words backward, but find the table, find the results table, okay? And I'm going to show you what those pluses and minuses on that results table mean, okay? Let me blow this up. Okay. Hope that's a little bit better. Yes, hi Daisy. Okay. All right. So the first test that we'll go through is the lipid test. So again, make sure you are on that results table on your pre-lab worksheet. Okay. So the lipid test that we did not do the Sudan test, and that is on there. Oh, loving the backwards. Man, I thought I'd told it to flip. That's okay. Okay. So for lipid test, we have how we decide if something is positive for lipids is you put a drop in the middle of each box and label it, and then you let it dry. And once it's dry, if you see a smear outside of the original drop, that means that the paper has absorbed lipids. Again, lipids is fat. So this is a grease smear test. So oatmeal, the oatmeal just dried on there and there's no grease smear. So oatmeal is negative for lipids. Apple juice, again, it just dried. It's a little sparkly from some other things in it, but that was the size of the drop. There's no grease smear. Water just dried, no grease, no lipids in water. But oil, so the original drop was right here, and I think I dripped a little bit out there too. But on that one, that is definitely a grease smear. So that oil is positive for lipids. Our milk did not have any grease smear, so that's negative. Our X factor, I think that it just dried. It's not really absorbed into the paper. It's sitting on top of the paper. So I'm going to say that the unknown substance is also negative for lipids. Okay, so when you're looking at the table, the results table on your worksheet, you'll see that in the lipid test, okay, it already has the results for you. So Fravel, why am I watching this video? Trust me, watch this video, because when you take the test for macromolecules next week, you need to know what this all looks like, okay? So again, the only substance that's positive for lipids is the oil, okay? Super duper. Any questions? Email me. Okay, so then we'll go through the protein test. Okay, and again, this is one that I did this morning. So in our little wells, I put all 6 of our substances. Let me grab a pointer instead of making my big old lady hands blind you. There we go, that's better. Okay, so we have, it's the light. The light's too bright. I'm gonna go dim the light. Hang on, I'll be right back, okay? I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I think that's better. I dimmed the light so there isn't any glare off of the well plate. Okay, so this was, again, our test for protein. So I filled a well plate with each different substance. So water, apple juice, oil, oatmeal, milk, and our X factor, or our unknown X. And then I placed in the drops of biuret, okay, to test for protein. So what came up positive? So the biuret starts out bright blue. If it's a positive test, or if the substance has protein in it, the substance and the biuret will turn bright purple. So water, negative. Apple juice, negative. Oil, negative. Oatmeal, negative. Milk, that's positive. It's not a strong positive, but it's positive. And then our unknown X substance, very positive for protein, okay? So that should be listed on your table. Let's see, yep. Milk and unknown X are both positive for protein. Awesome, okay. And then the next one is in the Benedict's reagent test for simple carbohydrates or sugar. So I'm going to show you each test tube. So these were the substances. Put 2 milliliters of each substance, each in a separate test tube. Okay, and then we added 20 drops. Whoa, not a biuret, of the Benedict's. Okay. And this is gonna check for simple carbohydrates, simple sugars, okay? And it goes from the blue control. If there is simple sugars present, you'll get a bright orange color. So let's take a look. This is the juice, the apple juice, turned bright, icky, grody, yellowish orange. So I'm gonna call that a positive for simple sugars, okay? And then the oatmeal, it just looks like disgusting oatmeal. Let me get rid of that. There we go. So that's negative for sugars. The oil also, it cooked, but it's negative for sugars. The milk has a little bit of sugar in it. Okay, so it's slightly positive, but not really enough to make a change. And then factor X did not change, and water, no change at all. So okay, so the only one really positive on that one is going to be the apple juice that went really brown. I think these other ones went brown because they've been sitting for so long, or I overcooked them. You know, Fravel professional chemistry, biochemist. Yeah. Okay. All right. So again, juice, brown color from the Biarritz, or the Benedicts, sorry, from the Benedicts, means that it's positive for sugar. Okay. And then the last one. The last one is the iodine, testing for the other kind of carbohydrates, which are starches, which are big sugars. Okay. So again, I had in the well plate, I had water, apple juice, oil, oatmeal, milk, and the X factor or X substance. And then we added 10 drops of iodine. And iodine again is orange, right? And if it interacts with starch, iodine turns black. So which one of those is positive? Yeah, that one's looking pretty oily black. That is the oatmeal. So oatmeal is the only one of our substances that is high in starch, which is, again, a carbohydrate. Okay. All right. I think that's all of the tests, right? Okay. Well, that's it. Okay. So now what you need to do is go to Canvas and watch my video on macromolecules, fill in the worksheet for macromolecules, do the macromolecule foldable. There is another instruction video for that. Man, I made a lot of videos for today. And then go back to your lab sheet, your pre-lab for macromolecules, and answer the questions about which macromolecules are where and why. Okay? That's all due on Friday. You're welcome. Have a great day. Have a great week. If you need anything, just reach out via Canvas. My Remind is not working very well. It doesn't tell me when you guys send me a message and remind, so go Canvas, okay? Okay, have a beautiful day. Wear your masks. Stay away from people. Bye. Okay, bye. I gotta find the pause. Hold on. Bye.